Mars conjunct Pluto, the divine blueprint to uproot systemic chains forever. As children of God, the earthquake of yesterday has passed, but its aftershocks will shape our future. How do we feel after the first 24 hours of Neptune in Aries? If we are exhausted, restless, or suddenly seeing through long-held lies, do not worry. That is a sign that the spiritual surgery was successful. This is the blueprint-shaping moment, where the dawn after the storm reveals the blueprint emerging from yesterday's ignition. As children of God, we wade through these waters calmly, guided by the gentle flow of wade in the water, which reminds us that reflection is the foundation of our blueprint. In this divine orchestration, the stars align to call us into a new era, where cosmic energies like Neptune's fiery rebirth in Aries invite us to unpack the revelations bestowed upon us, transforming spiritual whispers into tangible designs for justice and sovereignty. From yesterday's ignition at 12:31 p.m. Eastern Time, this leads to a calm unpacking today, where the heavens continue to speak through Mars-Pluto's power peak and the moon's entry into Gemini, urging us to design our blueprint with wisdom drawn from ancestral resilience born of the Middle Passage and God's liberating promise. As the architects of our spiritual destiny, we step into this role not as mere survivors, but as master builders crafting a legacy on the solid rock of faith, rather than the shifting sands of illusion, as warned in Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 to 27, ensuring our house stands firm against the ancient storms of systemic chains and uncertainty. To amplify this transformation, recognize that every blueprint we draft today carries the weight of profound change. It is not merely a plan, but a catalyst for deep, soul-level metamorphosis, where old paradigms die and new freedoms are born, echoing the resurrection narratives in our sacred traditions. Days 25 and 26 were the download of revelations, a mystical preparation followed by a fiery activation. Today is the day to unpack. Do not rush action if the blueprint is not clear yet. Pay attention to repeating events in the past 24 hours. These are the raw materials for our blueprint, signs from the divine that echo the synchronicities of cosmic alignment, serving as the very building blocks we need to construct our path forward. From yesterday's ignition, this leads to a calm unpacking today, where we design our blueprint carefully and build it on clear data. The foundation of the blueprint is reflection, allowing us to integrate the fire's lessons without haste, discerning the spirits as instructed in 1 John chapter 4, verse 1, to test what is true and enduring. With the moon entering Gemini at 4:55 p.m. Eastern Time, this communication reset serves as our blueprint sharing tool, enabling us to exchange unpacked insights in fresh, meaningful dialogues that strengthen our collective understanding, much like the remnant people in Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11, gathering to reclaim their inheritance. As children of God, this unpacking is a sacred process, where we sift through the cosmic data to reveal God's blueprint for our lives and community, breaking free from the illusions that once bound us in generational cycles of bondage, and turning historical whispers into actionable truth. Remember, this blueprint is not just a personal plan. It is the seed of a new era, the atomic grain that will define your destiny for the next 20 years as Pluto resides in Aquarius. This is not a short-term sketch. It's establishing the DNA for the freedom of your lineage in the Aquarius age, a blueprint that honors our ancestors and plants roots for 7 generations to come. To deepen the transformation, view this unpacking as an alchemical process. Each revelation unpacked refines your inner gold, turning base metals of doubt and fear into the pure essence of empowered purpose, ensuring that the change is not superficial but penetrates every layer of your being, from spirit to society. This brings us to the Mars-Pluto conjunction at 9 a.m. Eastern Time today, when action power peaks in Aquarius, amplifying the transformative energies of the Aquarius stellium. What we saw as injustice yesterday, God gives us strength today to change it at the root, uprooting systemic barriers with divine precision. This means we can blueprint the power, designing our power blueprint to dismantle the foundations of inequity that have plagued those who have been the footstool of empire for generations. We build a root change blueprint, laying the foundation for a justice blueprint as the remnant children of God, as foretold in Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11, chosen to plan and reclaim our scattered inheritance amid the cosmic shifts. Mars-Pluto acts as the divine compass for blueprint navigation, pointing us toward transformative action without the urgency of yesterday's fire, blending Aquarius's innovative collective vision with the pioneering spirit of Aries to forge paths of equity and renewal. As children of God, we unpack this conjunction calmly, ensuring our blueprint aligns with divine will for lasting change, where the heavens conspire to empower us against the shadows of empire, much like the prophetic calls in theology of the oppressed that declare God as the ultimate liberator. In the tradition of our ancestral faith, this Pluto energy invokes resurrection power, not just revival, but rising with greater authority. Ask yourself, what system in your life must fully die today at this conjunction to allow your true self to resurrect? This is the moment where old chains shatter, and we emerge empowered, not defeated. To heighten the depth of this transformation, envision it as a multidimensional shift. Pluto's death-rebirth cycle intensifies Mars' drive, creating a vortex of change that reshapes not only personal habits, but collective structures, ensuring that resurrection is a holistic uprising, body, mind, spirit, and community, where what was buried in the soil of the struggle blooms into unassailable sovereignty. Dear brothers and sisters, if yesterday was the fire of Aries, then today at 3 degrees Aquarius, Mars and Pluto are performing a spiritual surgery right to the roots of the chains. This is the moment of Revelation chapter 12 happening in real life, where the power of resurrection rises from the ruins of the old system. Don't let the bustle of the moon in Gemini distract you. Be like the yogi in the Sabian symbol, using iron will to heal yourself and establish a blueprint for freedom, because God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. Dear brothers and sisters, do not mistake the fire of today. Mars and Pluto do not meet to burn each other in aimless anger. They meet at 3 degrees Aquarius to teach us about spiritual surgery. This is the time for you to take the scalpel of will, to uproot the mentalities of the plantation, the feelings of inferiority that have been deeply embedded in your family's DNA for many generations. Like the yogi monk mastering breath in the storm, you must master your own design. The truth you speak today under the Gemini moon must be the kind of truth that can build a school, a business, and a future for our children. This alchemy of silence teaches us that Mars-Pluto's intensity isn't for explosive anger, but for controlled, quiet power. Use this energy to surgically remove inner demons, self-destructive habits, through silent, willful healing, not raw emotion. True power comes from within, based on truth and love, not forced through manipulation or violence. Beware the trap of power struggles. If we build our blueprint using the oppressor's tools of hate and division, we'll only construct a new prison. Instead, ground it in ethics and community service. To expand this transformative depth, integrate the yogi's discipline as a daily ritual. In moments of potential outburst, pause for breath-centered meditation, allowing silence to forge unbreakable resolve, turning reactive force into proactive power that sustains long-term liberation and prevents the cycle of reoppression. To affirm this divine power, let us engage in the affirmation of resurrection power. Place your hand on your heart or raise it high as a symbol of receiving this strength. I declare that the power of God is operating within me, stronger than any conjunction or movement of the stars. Like Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, I use sacred will to uproot the barriers of injustice and the spiritual chains that have bound my generations. I receive the power of resurrection. What died in yesterday's illusions is now reborn in today's truth and autonomy. I am a yogi of faith, holding healing power in my mind, transforming worldly chaos into the order of a heavenly blueprint. I reject the distracting spirit of gossip. I choose Gemini's wisdom to connect, share, and build community and love. My blueprint is not just a drawing on paper, but land, finances, and the freedom God promised my lineage. I walk in light, no longer retreating into darkness, for the era of truth has begun right here in my very soul. Amen. To deepen the affirmation's transformative impact, repeat it thrice daily for the next week, visualizing each line as a layer of armor forging your resilient spirit, ensuring the words evolve from declaration to embodied reality, catalyzing ongoing personal and communal evolution. Now let us turn to practical guidance for building this blueprint, drawing from the grounded wisdom of the first quarter moon in Taurus to anchor our reflections in tangible reality. First, write down the revealed truths from the past days. These form the core of your truth blueprint, a sacred journaling practice that captures the divine memos and synchronicities, like entries in a spiritual diary, mapping out the blueprint of your soul's journey. Unpack each one methodically, designing your blueprint to reflect authentic self-determination, as if charting a map like the North Star's escape routes to freedom, navigating from bondage to sovereignty with cosmic precision. Second, prune illusion-based relationships that no longer serve. This clears space to build a clean blueprint, removing toxic ties that hinder growth, much like the biblical call to separate from what defiles in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17, allowing the foundation of our blueprint to stand firm in truth and unity. To enhance transformation here, approach pruning as a ceremonial release. Write letters unsent to those ties, forgiving and releasing, then burn them symbolically, transmuting pain into fertile soil for new growth, ensuring the change is cathartic and irreversible. Third, prepare for a new cycle of economic and spiritual autonomy, laying the foundation for an autonomy blueprint that honors our ancestors' resilience and breaks the chains of generational inequity. To deepen this, consider the theme of sacred economics when faith touches the earth, rooted in the first quarter moon in Taurus. This alignment invites us to explore economic liberation as an integral part of salvation, drawing from Old Testament stories of land management and property stewardship, such as the Jubilee year in Leviticus chapter 25, where debts are forgiven, land is returned to original owners, and the oppressed are freed from cycles of poverty. In Theology of Liberation, as articulated by prophetic voices of the diaspora, this mirrors the divine mandate for reparations and equity, addressing pressing social issues like systemic wealth disparities in communities that have been redlined, where historical boundaries, wage gaps, and lack of access to capital perpetuate inequality. Today, amid rising concerns over inflation, housing crises, and the wealth divide exacerbated by recent global trials and ongoing structural economic injustice, Taurus energy urges us to break the curse of generational poverty. By aligning our spiritual aspirations with cosmic laws, such as intentional stewardship and communal investment, we transform ethereal dreams into tangible prosperity. This could mean advocating for policy changes, like universal basic income pilots in our historic neighborhoods, building cooperative economies inspired by historical models like the golden era of self-sufficient towns, or fostering financial literacy programs that empower youth to reclaim economic sovereignty. Think of these cooperatives not just as businesses, but as modern fields of Boaz, where provision flows abundantly, or as manna in the wilderness sustaining us through trials, tools to protect the spiritual freedom Neptune and Aries bestows. As children of God, economic liberation is not optional. It is salvation in action, ensuring that our faith bears fruit in the soil of justice and abundance for all. This blueprint becomes an intergenerational legacy using ancestral tech, the wisdom of our forebears, to repay the debts of the past and lay foundations for 7 generations ahead. To intensify this transformative layer, incorporate ancestral tech rituals. Research one ancestral practice, e.g., communal farming or bartering, and adapt it to modern economics, like starting a family investment fund, weaving historical wisdom into contemporary action for enduring multi-generational shift. Combining this with the Aquarius stellium's collective energy, it leads to collective blueprints that empower our community. To make this practical, consider forming blueprint healing collectives, guided workshops, both online and online, focused on trauma healing and economic plans. These collectives increase development through shared blueprints, such as discussions on reparations and self-sufficiency, where we unpack collective trauma from historical wounds of the Jim Crow era, designing paths to mental and financial independence. Start by gathering small groups of 3 to 5 people in your church or neighborhood to discuss this blueprint, perhaps over a shared meal or prayer circle, where each person shares one truth they've unpacked, turning personal revelations into communal strength. Connect to finances by practicing budgeting for generational wealth. Create simple templates in your journal to allocate resources towards savings, investments in businesses that support our own, or community funds, ensuring every dollar aligns with cosmic stewardship and breaks the cycles of scarcity imposed by predatory systems. With Gemini's influence, transform these exchanges into a digital/social underground railroad, not just physical paths, but a network of coded knowledge. Use social media or community groups today to share secrets on finance, business operations, or economic survival tips, building an impenetrable system of shared wisdom that enemies cannot breach. To elevate the depth of transformation, structure these collectives as evolving ecosystems. Begin with trauma-sharing circles, progress to skill-building sessions, and culminate in joint ventures, fostering a ripple effect where individual healing amplifies communal revolution, creating sustainable networks that outlast any single generation. The blueprint at 9 a.m. Eastern Time Mars-Pluto is the divine design. Use it to build beyond chaos. The divine blueprint revealed emerges like dawn after the storm, illuminating paths beyond chaos. As the dream of justice called for nonviolent planning, we reveal our remnant design here, unpacking the power to construct a new era of equity and strength. As children of God, this climax invites us to see the blueprint as our sacred map, navigating from yesterday's fire into tomorrow's solid foundations, where cosmic forces converge to affirm our role in God's unfolding plan of liberation, echoing the cross as a symbol of ultimate victory over oppression. To deepen this navigational transformation, treat the blueprint as a living document. Revisit and revise it quarterly, incorporating new revelations, ensuring it adapts to life's fluxes while maintaining its core transformative essence. In resolution, integrate these steps into self and community blueprints. For the self, unpack personal revelations to design a blueprint of daily practices, journaling truths, pruning distractions, and preparing autonomy through skill building, ensuring the foundation of our blueprint stands resilient against personal storms. For the community, start blueprint healing collectives to foundation our blueprints in unity, where shared stories become the building blocks for collective healing and economic plans, extending to broader liberation, where faith touches every aspect of our existence. This integration ensures we build beyond individual survival, creating reparations-inspired blueprints that uplift those who have labored in the vineyard, grounded in the divine wisdom that turns trials into triumphs. To maximize transformative depth, track progress with milestones. Set measurable goals, e.g., 1 new skill per month, 1 collective meeting per week, reflecting on how each step alchemizes pain into power, fostering a continuous cycle of growth and renewal. The era of truth has begun. No more retreating into shadows. Walk as those who know their destination. Peace and blessings. From yesterday's ignition to today's blueprint, peace and blessings in our collective journey. Lord, guide our blueprints with wisdom and strength. Help us unpack, design, build, and foundation our paths in your light. Amen. Mars meeting Pluto in Aquarius this time is to establish the DNA for the next 20 years, since Pluto will remain in Aquarius until 2044, creating an urgent and immense importance for the blueprint you are crafting today. In the noise of the world, listen to the blueprint in the silence of faith. For the Justice Blueprint poll, what blueprint will you build? Share to inspire our collective with #BlueprintThealing. Share a truth you've unpacked in the comments below, or tell us about a cooperative or community project rooted in our heritage you're envisioning. Let's build together. If this content resonates, consider subscribing for ongoing insights. Share your thoughts in the comments to build our community. Until next time, take care and stay grounded in divine blueprints. Explore visionary astrologers who speak to our journey for further guidance. To further the transformation, engage in the poll not just as sharing but as a commitment. Follow up on shared ideas with action steps, turning virtual inspiration into real-world change.